Welcome, everyone. It looks like we are at the top of the hour here. So I'll go ahead and get us started. I want to make sure we give our guest speaker enough time today and questions and all that. If you're here, welcome. This is the July DELN members meeting, and we have extended this invite to also those outside of our membership. Thank you. You are more than welcome. Um, Let me move forward here. Sorry, you guys, I'm working with one screen today, so it's a little trying to get myself together. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, here we go. Okay, and just a note that this meeting will be recorded, and we will be sharing this on YouTube. So, if there are any policies against that, maybe follow up with the recording afterwards. But I just want to make sure everybody is aware. Okay, our agenda today, I'm gonna go through some welcomes and some updates. We're gonna hear briefly from Seattle Libraries, and then we'll move on to Jay Lyman's presentation, Finding Grants with Candid Search. I do want to, for those of you who are new to these meetings, I want to give a little background, a little context about Digital Equity Learning Network. We are a cross-sector coalition that works to advance digital equity and inclusion here in King County, Washington. And our mission is to leverage collective knowledge and resources to advocate for digital equity, to share best practices, and to build system capacity towards digital inclusion, towards inclusion in the digital world. That one always trips me up for one reason or another. We have certain areas of focus, four of them. We advocate for funding and resources that we need to advance digital equity in our region. We also offer learning and professional development opportunities such as these. We develop and curate up-to-date resources. Oh, I'm sorry, moving way far ahead. And then we also convene our practitioners, such as this, and make sure that everybody is up to date and aligned with what's happening in our ecosystem and region here. I do want to update you on some programs that are coming up. In September, we will have a beginner digital skills workshop presented by Literacy Source. And this is unique because it really is very beginner digital skills. It's not assuming that anyone who's participating has any knowledge of digital skills. So if that's applicable to your community or your clients, please join us. And then also, I'm excited to announce our third annual Gathering for Access and Equity. That's happening October 7th at the Seattle Public Library. And that's our in-person annual convening where we often do virtual work together. This year or at this point in time is our opportunity to see each other in person and also hear from elected officials, from practitioners in the field. We'll have workshops and panels, and I'll be providing some more information about exactly what sorts of workshops and sessions and speakers we'll be having. But for now, what I will be doing is sharing in the chat the links to both of these programs. Oh, here we go. Gathering for Access and Equity. And I do want to take a few moments to invite Jonica Kwan from Seattle Libraries to speak about the library levy. So Jonica, please feel free to come off mute and meet our audience.
Thanks, Catherine. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonica. Thanks for having me today. Just wanted to talk briefly about the 2026 library levy, which will be on the primary ballot as Proposition 1. Ballots were mailed, so you should be receiving them if you haven't already. The voting period has begun. So this library levy, it's really, really important because it funds over a third of the library's budget for the next 7 years. So that's everything from infrastructure upgrades like seismic retrofits for some of our older branches to collections, both physical and digital, because of the rising demand of ebooks, which actually cost more than physical books because of some complicated copyright laws, and then expanded programming to meet the rising need in our cities. So this funding is really crucial to the library's ability to keep meeting the needs of the Seattle residents. The library is one of the most popular and most trusted institutions in our city. It serves over 430,000 active patrons, so this library is really important to meeting that demand. So that's a little bit about why to vote yes. But I also wanted to segue into how you can help. So we need as much help as possible spreading awareness about Proposition 1. Um, this is a lower turnout election. It's on the primary ballot. So we need to let people know that libraries are on the ballot and they need our support. So if you can just help us spread the word organically by bringing this up to friends and family, reminding them to vote. We also have a digital organizing toolkit that includes some text and email templates that are just easy to copy and paste and send to your networks. You can email me and I can drop my email in the chat as well. If you want access to that, I'd be happy to provide that. And then we're also all summer long have been sending volunteers to pass out flyers outside of farmers markets and community events. So if you're really passionate about getting the word out, there's always that opportunity. We also have yard signs, and then you can sign up for the Public Library Action Network, the plan. And this is something that extends beyond the campaign. It's how you can stay in the loop about upcoming advocacy opportunities for the library all year round. And all this information can be found on our website. You can scan that QR code to check that out. You can also find my email on our website too. And then also we have a campaign Instagram, which is Yes Seattle Libraries 2026. If you have Instagram, please give us a follow and feel free to be sharing content that way. We have some exciting endorsements and other content going up on there, and we would love everyone's help sharing that and making sure everyone sees our content so we can make sure that Seattle voters know to vote yes by August 4th. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has them.
Thank you, Jonica. Do I see any questions here? I don't see anything in the chat yet. We appreciate that. And, libraries are the original digital equity OGs. So please support the library and the levy. All
Thank you
right.
all.
Thank you. Let me see if we have anything. Okay, Jonica, you shared your email. Perfect. Reach out to her with any questions. Okay, well, without any further ado, I would like to introduce Jay Lyman. He is the entrepreneur and nonprofit support program manager at the Seattle Public Library. And I had the opportunity, I think it was last month, to view this tutorial, and I think there have been some updates and changes even since then. So you are getting the latest and the greatest. Jay, I will go ahead and stop sharing. If you want to share your screen, please go ahead.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you all for having me here today. I'm super excited to share about these resources that the library has. I'm Jay Lyman. I am a librarian and I am a program manager at the Seattle Public Library. I'm the entrepreneur and nonprofit support program manager. That means that I have to spell the word entrepreneur many times a day, and for some reason, I have to use spell check every time. So, anyway, I'm excited to be here and to be sharing with you today. Uh, Thanks to Nita. I First of all, I want to share one quick thing, which is that here today. I want you to just make sure I'm very clear that my message is separate from the message that you heard earlier, and that's because I'm a city employee, and so I can't endorse on my own on library time when I'm working, which I am today. I can't endorse candidates or levies, even if the library's in there, or maybe especially if the library's in there. So just want to put that little piece of separation in between there, and I thank you all for uh, working through that with me here today too. So okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at some exciting resources that I hope are very helpful for you. And so give me a second to get to the share. Somebody give me a thumbs up or something that tell me when you can see the see the thumbs up on the library's website there. Okay, thanks, Will. Okay, so this is the library's webpage, and we're going to be going through some of these tools, but maybe just to sort of contextualize what we have here first. Before we sort of dive into them, the first thing I'm going to show you is a grant-seeking database called Candid, and we'll talk more about what Candid is and how it works and all that, and I'll demo it. And then and that's I think I want to spend most of our time working on that today. And then after that, I want to share a couple of resources for nonprofits more generally, and other places to learn about fundraising and things. And then I want to share about a tool called Simply Analytics, which is a community research tool with amazing 80,000 data points about households, and you can search it locally. So we'll look at that. And then I'll share about a tool called Data Axle, which is a company list making kind of a tool. So it's a directory tool. So yeah, so let's start talking about some of these resources. The first resource that I mentioned, called Candid. Some of you, if you've done any grant research at the library in the past, and some of you may have. You might remember Foundation Directory Online or Foundation Directory. You might also remember a tool called GuideStar. And both of those tools, both Foundation Directory and GuideStar, are tools that are have been for some time owned by a company called Candid, and so Candid very recently has integrated those two tools together. Candid or Foundation Directory and GuideStar have become a tool called Candid Search. Or just Candid, which is a little bit confusing, but just note that Foundation Directory Online and GuideStar are now Candid, and in the moment we actually have access to all three. So we the library buys access for you, and we can get to all three of those. But in the near future, but I'm going to be showing you Candid because in the near future the Foundation Directory and GuideStar will go away, and you'll just be redirected just to Candid. So I want to show you how that works and what it looks like and all that kind of thing too. Um, and we'll go to Candid on the library's website here in a second. But I do want to just share that if you have questions, um, librarians love questions, so please put them in the chat. Raise your hand. Love to answer questions that you have as they come up in my presentation. And if there's something that I'm planning to cover that later, I'll let you know that too. But I love that interaction. So please ask if you've got a question. Okay, so I'm going to navigate to where you can find Candid, and then I'll talk about what's like what it is and what's in here and things, and then we'll demo it. So access to Candid is through there's a couple ways you can get access, and I'll talk more about some of those specific things later. But the primary one that I want you to think about is that you can get access to Candid by coming into the library. Any Seattle Public Library will give you access to Candid, or those other two as well for the short term for free. Unlike many of our databases, which you can use from home, this one you have to come in. You don't have to be on one of our computers. You can bring your own computer, connect to our Wi-Fi, and you have access to Candid for free. And you can download records and things. I'm going to show you how to do that. But you have to come in to do the research, and then you can download the records, and then go home and work on your proposals and things. So that's kind of the primary way to get to Candid. So let's just, imagine like you walk into the library, you sit down, and then connect to our Wi-Fi, and then pull up the library's webpage, spl.org. And then if you go to Programs and Services, Business and Nonprofit, if you scroll down here, you get to our Business Research Tools. Once you click on our Business Research Tools, all of the things I'm going to show you today are represented in this list. So you can see here's Candid with the little, like, I guess that's like a library looking icon there. Here's Foundation Directory. This is the one that will go away in the near future. Here's GuideStar, which will also go away. And then Simply Analytics and Data Axle is up here at the top here. So then you can, you connect it to the Wi-Fi, you click on the Foundation Directory, and the tool will open up. And you know that you're logged in and you have full access if you see the "Hello, Seattle Public Library." That's your cue to note that okay, I have access. Then once you're here, you can do your searching, and you have access to a lot of great information about fundraising. I'm going to do a demo in a minute, but I just want to share what's in here. So once you're logged in, you do your search. Your results are going to show up. I think about kind of four types of information. One, funders, so mostly foundations, are the ones who are making grants anyway. Sometimes nonprofits are also making grants, too, and that stuff shows up in here too. Then recipients of grants also are in here, and those recipients almost across the board, almost all of them are nonprofits as opposed to for-profits. And I'll talk about that why in a minute. But so you've got foundations, you've got those who are giving grants, those who are receiving grants. Then you have the transactions, the grants themselves, like what happened. This organization gave this organization this much money for this. So those transactions, and then you have information or actually the fourth type of information would be like opportunities. So sort of think about those as like promoted grants. This organization has this amount of money that they're offering up right now for this purpose. So they're the sort of like promoted grants are in here too. Those opportunities they call them. And what I would share with you is that yes, there are opportunities in here, but I think when I'm in here searching, the bulk of the detail that you find are not sort of advertised grants. Many of these foundations, they don't advertise a grant. They have money to give, but they're waiting for you to pitch them an idea. They're waiting for that program pitch, so to speak. So that proposal, So a lot of the detail that you're going to look at here, it might not be in that opportunities tab. It might be in the grant makers. And one of the great things about this database is that we can follow the money. We can see, past performance translates to future success in this kind of forum. So we can actually see not what they say that they are doing in terms of like funding, but we can see how have performed. They've given this much money to these organizations in the past, and so we think they probably are a good fit for our organization. Okay. I see a question in the chat, and I want to just back up to that in a second here, or now, I guess. I live in Everett, and I work for a Seattle-based nonprofit. Can I get a Seattle Public Library card? The answer is yes. You can get a library card regardless, because you live in Everett. Yeah, and uh, we can give out free library cards to folks who live in nearby counties. So anyone who lives in the Snow Isle area, Snow Isle libraries, they can also get a Seattle Public Library card. If you live in King County, you can also get a Seattle Public Library card. And vice versa, and that extends down to Timberland, down in Olympia, Kitsap County. So we can give out these free cards based on where you live. And thank you for putting that reciprocity agreement. And that's the agreement that allows that all to happen. But you actually don't need a library card to get into this particular tool. The next two that I'm going to show you, you do, unless you're on site. But for this one, you're on site, so it's not going to ask you for a library card. It just looks at, are they connected to the library's Wi-Fi, and if so, I'll let them in. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so talked about the kinds of information, and there's lots of detail about the organizations in here because, like I said earlier, they've recently sort of merged the information that used to be in GuideStar, which was a deep dive into organization information, with the grant side of things, which was the foundation directory. So, and you'll see some of that as we go here too. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a second and catch up on my notes. If you have any questions on anything I've covered so far, just let me know here. I'm going to pause for questions. Okay. Um, well, let's do some searching. I think about this database kind of doing two things for us. One, it makes visible information we didn't know existed. Like there, I don't know who's funded who. But the second thing I think is a very important thing also, which is it can do some of that searching work for us. Like we can refine from all foundations that have money to give to the 10 that we think are the best fit for our purposes. And I'll show you a couple of ways to let the tool do that work for you. So first of all, once you're here, kind of the most straightforward is to just, think about this like Google and put in, what you're looking for here in the search screen. And so I put digital literacy. Okay. And let's just start there. So it's giving me, right now it's searching. So it's giving me digital literacy, and I put that in the regular search. And what it does is that it gives me some results, and those results are in these tabs right here. So the first one is all the organizations that matched up with my keyword search, which is up here. So Lao Senior Reach Outreach, Comcast NBC. So these are organizations that gave, organizations that received, all around that, somewhere in there are those terms, digital literacy. Um, so that's interesting. But I think more often, I might want to go directly to wait, who gave the money? So I'm going to go to my grant makers tab. Um, and now we're looking at grant makers that matched digital literacy, and you can see over here they've got some information about the organization, and then you get their total revenue, total assets, total giving. That total giving, that's how much they gave. That relates to my search criteria up here at the top. I That kind of confused me at the beginning because if you've used the foundation directory, the terms were different there, so it threw me off. But we just confirmed this week that $50 million there, it relates to relates to what we have up here in our search. And then we can kind of keep scrolling down here, and you can see, all these different organizations wherever. We haven't told it anything about geography yet. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But let's go ahead and click on one of them here. I'm going to click on the uh, Donors Trust Inc. So just to give you a sense of what these records look like. So here's Donors Trust Inc. And you can see you've got a summary. You got all these tabs across the top. Here's a summary of their mission, their background, their focus. They've listed three program areas. So they've got these are three areas I look like really closely at to begin with to see like, is this a good fit for me? Um, then I can see some information about, some statistics about their grants. So they're, that first, program area might be a like go, no go for me. And then my next kind of decision point might be this section where I'm starting to understand like, okay, are they really giving in the area that, or is this, or are they mostly given another area? But it gives us some stats there. Get their total giving, of course, their contact information. That might be my next step is to go out to their website, learn everything I can about them, and make sure that this is a good fit for me. Um, but that, I might go deeper into the grants section here. So I click on grants, and that puts me into the tabs there. Um, Another thing I like to look at is like, did they give in my area? So, is Washington State listed there? The giving ranges, I think, is a really useful one. So if all their giving was in this 5K or less bucket, and I'm looking for something that's more in this like higher level, that might be time to move to the next record. So you can really see that this is that past performance kind of at play here. Um, and then you can start to see, more information about them. And if I go back up here to the top on the grants page, if they have an application process, there's a little tab here that tells you, what to do next. So in this case, this organization only has this pre-selected organization. So some work would need to be done to sort of make a connection with this one, I think. And there is information here to help you with that. So if you go to the People's tab, the people are, here's staff members that you could look for on LinkedIn and connect with. Um, there's information about their compensation and things. Often there's board members that are listed and all kinds of good information there about them. And then you can you can dive into their financials. This is all stuff that used to be on GuideStar and then now is more prevalent here in this merged database. And then you can even see the 990s that they file, the tax forms that they file. Um, Incidentally, the 990s, so remember at the beginning I was talking about kind of what's in here, and we talked about how most of what's in here is transactions between nonprofits or foundations. And that's because a lot of this is built on top of the 990s, which become public information. For profits, their tax forms don't become public information. So that's a big reason why any grants that went to a for-profit, and many for-profits aren't eligible for the grants that a foundation gives. They need to have a nonprofit status. They need to have a 501c3. So that kind of also kind of is why. So this is the universe of nonprofit kind of giving and grants. For profits, yes, those happen, but there's not a one-stop shopping place to look for those, and those tend to be in more of the kind of opportunity rather than the opportunities tab that we haven't gone to yet, but I'll go back to. But that's the kind of thing that I see for profits, for profit grants being listed like. So that's just sort of a quick overview of one of the of like one way to search it, and then what the grant maker record looks like. If I go to the recipients tab, um, so here's who's gotten, received grants, and how much and things. And so that's can be a really good way to approach this too, is if you know there's this peer organization that does very similar work, and they've done a lot of work at grant writing recently and received grants. Um, you can go in and browse them and see who's funded their them recently, and for what also. If we want to go to just the transactions, you go to the just the grants tab, and then you have the here's who's given and when. You can see some of these are older, so that might be something I could adjust in my search. We'll go back to the search now in a second. Um, but I wanted to just also follow through with the opportunities. So these are those sort of advertised grant, here this organization says, "Hey, we have this amount of money to give right now, and we have this open RFP for whatever." So it's this is a cool feature that didn't exist in Foundation Directory, that you can sort of browse all the opportunities right here. The opportunities were listed in there, but you had to go to the Grant Maker tab first and then get to them. So so that's sort of what's in here in a kind of high level. Um, let me show you some other ways to search this. So when we went at the very beginning, I just typed in digital literacy up there, which I think is, it's a good way to start is, to keyword search it. But look at how many results it gave me. Over 2,000 results. I can't even wrap my head around those 2,000 results. And it did rank them by like, highest, giving and things for my search. But I want to refine even further. So, what you can do is back up here at the search. I'm going to click on the filters, and Candid has done us a nice favor in that they have put the the best filters up at the very top. So you've got these subject areas that you can browse through now. You've got population served, and then geographic area served are all filters that we can put on here. Um, and this is a way that we can refine even further and get kind of more targeted in our grant, in our research. So let's now browse on, and you can search within the filters, which is nice. So if I do digital, okay, so now I've got digital collections, media, and digital justice. Sounds interesting there. So I'm going to click on that, media and digital literacy. Um, yeah, let's leave that there. So I'm just going to leave that where it is. Population served. I could put in a specific age group, ethnic or racial group, family relationships. Um, let's go with children and youth. And then here under geographic area, I could just type in Washington. Whoops, Washington State. Okay. I think Seattle's within that and applied, but I could have selected Washington, or we'll select both. Um, Now I can apply my filters. Now we got 464. Now we're really making some progress here. I still might want to refine further because like 464 is a lot, but I might, like look at that top 450 results here. Um, Let's go back up to my filters. Another filter. Remember, we were looking at some of those older ones. If I really want to, think about, more recent information, I might drag my thing, my time period up to like 2020. You don't want to do too close there because remember these are some of the results are history of what's happened, not necessarily opportunities. So I don't want to go too close to I want some past information. Well, that didn't really give me too much more uh, with grant year, so maybe I'll go be a little bit more aggressive with the year and go up just to that. Let's see what that does. Okay, now still not a lot, but I could start to look at other things too, like where the organization is. Like that's this location. This is where where the money has gone. This is where they are. I could You can see there's a lot of different ways that we could search this. Support strategies is another good one where we don't want in-kind gifts. We want money, and this is what money for. What the money goes to. So general support or things like this. So try. I encourage you to experiment with the search, and you may need to search one way, find your results, go out there, work on your proposals, and then come back and search it a different way to get to different results too. So I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to search this. Like I think it's more of an iterative. I search it one way, I get some results, go out and see what I can find, and then come back. Um, I think something might be weird. I don't know why it didn't really change my results numbers here each time I searched. So there might be some kind of glitch going on here. What I would do is probably go back, clear my keywords, start over rather than adapting my search. Um, that that does work most of the time, but for some reason, just right now, it didn't work. So I don't know why that's happening, but it's probably just a glitch. Um, okay, so now I've got my search, I got my results. Um, and I've started to go through some of the results. But the clock is ticking, and I need to go, like, and the library's closing or something like that. And so I want to learn more about the Silicon Valley Foundation. Up here in the top, you've got this little download profile PDF. And so I encourage you to like PDF these, and that could be part of your workflow. Is that you find a good result, and then instead of doing all of the work of writing your proposal and things, or you even investigating further, you download that into a folder, and then you can kind of work on that from home. And it's super easy. You just click on there, and then you've got like here's all the stuff about that foundation. So pretty easy to navigate there too. The grants themselves, if you go to that grants tab, those you can select and download as a grid, as a Excel spreadsheet. So that's one difference there with the grant in the grants tab. You can download them as an Excel or CSV files. So that's kind of a nice one there too for in this grants feature. Let's see. What else do I want to share about this? Anybody have questions? Any questions that I can take now? Okay, I think I've covered a lot here. Um,
I can't figure out how to raise my hand, but I have two questions.
oh, please do. Yes, go
I
for
was like, I don't know, I was getting lost there. My first question is, can you filter by, um, I'm blanking on the word, like the pre-selected grants, the one that you showed us, like it's all pre-selected. Can you filter those out so you're not looking at them?
You mean the opportunities?
Yeah, like if we're doing a list of grants and you've got all of your keywords and what you're looking for, and you've done it by geographic area and subject area, is there a filter where you can say, please take out any place that only does that they choose all their own grants without you being able to
Oh,
apply?
yes, good
That's what I'm trying
question.
to say.
Ooh, yes, I hear what you're
I know
saying.
you could, the Foundation Center let you do that before, so I'm guessing they do, but is it in there somewhere?
That is a great question. I love that question, because
Oh, there it is.
I think
Okay.
it's this.
That's it. Great. Okay.
Exclude grant makers not accepting unsolicited applications. Um, and so you can do that. Although in my conversations with Candid, they say use that kind of sometimes because they may actually be, so I think it's a good way to start. But if you're really coming back to the, to look for additional ones, that might be one to sort of toggle back on and see what else comes up. But I think in that whole like saving time to begin with, I think that's a good filter to start with anyway.
Thanks. Can I ask my other question really quickly, or does somebody else want to?
Please do. Go ahead.
Okay. My other question is, I got a little lost because I probably wasn't paying attention of at the very beginning when you were explaining how to get to this site. I can go to any Seattle Public Library. I don't just have to go to one specific one.
That is right.
You can
Yes.
see how long it's been since I used the Foundation Center database at the library. Okay, cool. So you can go to anyone. That's great. And how did you get to it again? That's what I,
Yes. So yeah, any Seattle Public Library location, and just connect to our Wi-Fi, and if you go back 5 years, 6 years or so, that used to be you had to come to the Central Library only,
right.
but
Yep.
now it's any Seattle Public Library, so
Fantastic.
that's really great.
Great.
And then once you're there, come. Connect to our Wi-Fi and then go to spl.org and then programs and services, business and nonprofit, and then business research tools.
Great.
So it's a couple clicks, but what I like about that is that also the other tools I'll share about are in there as well too. So and we do have that Candid. You can find it in other places on our site too, but that's just one that where like they all kind of come together. Nice place.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. Any other questions? That was a nice segue into another thing I wanted to share. So if you and I can share, we have this on our website too. Uh, so but you can just Google search for find a foundation directory library, and Candid actually has a tool where you can find where your closest free access to this tool is. So right now it knows that I'm like close to Douglas Truth, Beacon Hill, and that's not just related, that's not just Seattle Public Library, that's any location. Most of them are libraries, but there are other locations that there are other organizations that subscribe to this and provide free access. So you're able to see them on the map and click through and find information about where to get to where you can get access. And outside of the Seattle Public Library, if you go north, Marysville or on Whidbey Island, I think it's Freeland that has access. And then there's Pierce County also has access as well too. So there's lots of access points for free access to Candid. I also want to share, since we're talking about other places to get detail. If we go back to I'm just gonna close down my search here. I'm gonna go back to the main Candid page. If you're back here at the main Candid page, see this little claim or update your organization's profile. Click on learn more, and you can learn about how to claim your profile as your organization listing in here. And they have a really cool thing called Go for Gold, which if you do that and you sort of certify that you are a transparent organization, they're going to give you a free year subscription to Foundation Directory, so you can use this from outside the library, from anywhere. So you'll have a free subscription yourself. And this is information about how to go about that process too. So, love sharing about the Go for Gold program. In right now, we're also in the Candid. We're in their learning area, and their learning area is really helpful. They offer classes and workshops on finding grants like we just did, but they also have courses on grant writing. They have capacity building, all kinds of different um, classes that are either pre-recorded or are live trainings upcoming. Almost all of them are virtual. So take advantage of Candid's free learning resources. This part of their website is not part of the subscription. It's out on the free and open internet, so you don't have to be at the library to take these trainings. You can do them from anywhere that you have access to the internet. So like that aspect of Candid too. Okay, so I want to make sure we save some time for some of these other tools. But while we're still on the topic of fundraising and such, I want to also take a brief moment. If I go back to the business research tools page where we started here, I'm going to back up one step to business and nonprofit page, and we have a whole tab here called nonprofits. And under that tab, we have lots of information about Candid, and then direct links to Candid and things, and other information about having a nonprofit, about building your nonprofit, and so a lot of different research and information is just right here on this page. Some of them, if you go to our nonprofit support organizations. Here's a list of organizations that we found helpful, like 501 Commons has an amazing amount of information just right on their website for folks that are trying to learn about building the nonprofit. There's, Seattle SCORE also works with nonprofits, and you can see there's lots and lots of different resources here too. So I wanted to mention those and some of those partners like 501 Commons. If you find yourself, wondering about setting up a nonprofit or, establishing, is usually the kind of question. If you go back to our appointments page, you can see we've got nonprofit information appointments, but also these legal consults. In these legal consults, we have 30-minute sessions with attorneys, or in these cases of the business formation and license, these are business experts on forming a business. And you can see there's attorneys that focus on IP. There's attorneys that do more corporate law, and then the business information experts there too. So I wanted to mention that service because that's also free, that the library does, and something that you can take use because and you can get a lot of questions answered. They can't do work for you because they can't form an attorney-client relationship, but they can answer your questions and help in a lot of ways. Okay, I want to move to the other databases that I mentioned, and Catherine, keep me on track with the time. So I see we're the minutes ticking away, but keep me on track here.
Oh, you are welcome to keep going. You got to the top of the hour. Okay.
Okay, great, great. Okay, so I'm going to back up. Well, actually, before we do that, any last questions about Candid or the nonprofit things?
I have maybe more of a contextual question. So
Sure.
before, please correct me if I'm wrong, people would have to go into the library and use Foundation Directory on a library computer. Is that how it worked before? Okay.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
now patrons can go into any branch of the library with their own laptops or devices, and as long as they're connected to the library Wi-Fi, right? Is
that's
that
right.
it? Okay,
Yep.
they can access Candid now.
That's right. Yeah. You used to have to come into the library, be on one of our specific devices or specific computers. Before that, you had to come into the library and you opened up these really big books that had there was a time when and even when I worked at the library, we used to get the Foundation Directory as a book too. So yeah, it's much easier access now. But you do it's our subscription is set up so you do still have to come in for this one.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let me show you this other tool here. So we're going to look at one called Simply Analytics. And this is the one so this one you can use from home. So once you have a library card, Seattle Public Library card, you come to our website. I'm back on that same page where we started with Foundation Directory here, or GuideStar, or I'm sorry, Candid. See, I'm still catching up to it as well. So here's Candid, and you instead of clicking on Candid, you click on Simply Analytics. And then it would ask me for my library card and PIN number there. And then I enter that in, and then it takes me to another decision point where I can sign in with an account or sign in as a guest. I recommend signing in with an account because it'll save your preferences. So if you walk away for 5 minutes, and you're signed in as a guest, you just lost all your work. And this was a very customizable database, as you'll see here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and just sign. I am going to sign in as a guest just for the moment, just so you can kind of see what it looks like from the start. And then so what it does is it starts you with a tour, and then it wants to ask you a few questions to kind of get you going. So it asks for some locations. So let's just say Seattle, and I heard Everett earlier, so we'll just do Seattle and Everett. You can add more later. Um, and then it still wants to get us to data quickly. So it says, okay, how about these data points? Select the ones that you like. If there's some that aren't relevant, you can skip past it. This is where you're going to be. This is very customizable. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll create the project. So then it drops me into a map, and you can see over on the side, you've got a map, you've got a quick report, you've got a comparison table, but it starts with the map. So now it's mapping population by zip code in Seattle. So I can give it some more granularity by changing zip code to census block group. Okay, so now we got kind of some more variation in neighborhoods. I can zoom in here. Um, I can change my map to say, okay, show me where there are veterans, as a high percentage of the population. So so I can change my map all as much as I like. Um, if I go back to the quick report, now we got Seattle and Everett, and then you've got all this data, which is like census data. So here's age, race and ethnicity, income, lots and lots of detail about communities. And then if you go to the comparison table, these are those things that we started with. But if I go over here over to the left-hand side, you can see under data, I can then start to add different data points to my comparison table and to the map as well too. Uh, it starts by category, but I like the data folder view because I like to be able to, instead of just seeing kind of all of them there, I like to browse to community demographics, and then I open up this kind of path, and I like that view a lot better. You might like the other one, which is fine too, by category. But then you can start to understand more about about the community that you're serving. So this could be useful data points that would go into a proposal, to give you how many people in the community are of this age or race or ethnicity, how much income and things like that. So you could change, add the average income. It's that easy add in some dimensions here, and you can see if I go back to my comparison table, now those are part of that. I can drag my details around, create the table the way I want. Um, I can do how much money they spend on different things. So now we can say how much money people spend on streaming video or um, all kinds of different elements or all AV equipment. Um, so there's that. Um, you can look at under MRI Simmons. So this is a different kind of data. This is almost like the answers to survey questions. You can start to understand more about how people live their lives is what's in here. So if you go into media, like do they subscribe to internet? Or in the last 30 days, I have used the internet, or I've used social media, or time, or yes, time spent using social media last Saturday. So it gives you those kind of answers. So there's 80,000 data points in this database, and a lot of them are in this MRI Simmons category. But now you can see within the within my project here, you know, for Seattle, 128,000 people said that they spent 1 hour or one between 1 to 2 hours last Saturday using the internet, on social media. So a lot of good, lot of ways that you can kind of customize this, and then and create a report that's useful for you. And then for this one, also has a beautiful, easy export. So you can export this to Excel or as a CSV if you like. Same thing with the quick report or the map. You can export that, and you can put the table where you put the little key where you want it on there, and very very customizable kind of detail. What do you think about this one? Useful?
I think that's so much data, so much useful data. And I found another resource to put on our page for folk. Yeah.
Yeah, Simply Analytics. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. Use it a lot. Well, let me show you that last one that I mentioned, which is Data Axle. Data Axle is a little easier to use than that last one. Same thing, you can use this one from home with the library card too. And you just log in with your library card. This one has 120 million businesses in it. Incidentally, it also has these 318 million individuals in it, so consumer profiles. So think of this as like the phone book, but in a database form because it's got the yellow pages and the white pages. Um, and the search features are pretty similar. Oh, and this one also now has a new jobs library. So if you're working with folks who are like looking for jobs, they have a whole now wing that's around job search. But if you go into, just to show you how the search works, I'm going to go into the U.S. business search. It drops you into a lookup page. If you're looking for the address of a particular business, you can do that here. But I like to go to advanced search, and then you can search by type of business. So let's say you're looking for let's just do restaurants. So do restaurants, and then in the city of Seattle. So I just click the things I want to search by over here, and then you'd actually do the search here in the middle, and you can see restaurants. There they are. Okay, and then down here, let's type Seattle. All right, and then it gives me like a running tab if I like click on update count. So I get 2,600 businesses, click view results, and there they are. So 7-Eleven because they have serve food. We could drop that off if there's some ways to drop off things that like mini marts and things. But essentially, like if you're looking for businesses or any organization, really, it's not just businesses. It's like, because religious institutions are in here, nonprofits are in here, like even government organizations are in here too. So it's any kind of organization kind of search. And then here too, you can export, you can look at individual records, um, and use the data here or go into the or export it as well too. Here's just this listing for a deli on Rainier Avenue South. You get not 5 to 9 employees, their hours of operation. So like, that's kind of what contact information, all that kind of stuff. I think we're running out of
Yeah,
time.
we're right at time. I didn't want to interrupt Jay just
Yeah,
yet. But no, this is some great information. Does anybody have any a question? I'm happy to stay on a little longer. I won't cut everybody off at one, but please feel free to come off mute and let Jay know your question or thought. Melissa, you asked if
I
the
gotta
meeting is
go.
being
Thank you. Very
the
good
meeting is being
information.
recorded, and then Maggie's asking, was that last business list through the library or right online?
that's also through the library subscription. So you didn't see me entering my library card in there, but if I hadn't been like connected to the library's Wi-Fi, it would have asked me for that. So yes, you start on the library's website, and then you authenticate using your library card for the data axle, which is the last one, or simply analytics, and then you can get in for free. Um, and so if you're in Yakima, you might look at those reciprocal agreements in your area. Or if you don't find one, because our reciprocal agreements do nearby counties where you can get free cards. So you could look and see, are there library systems nearby? Also, does Yakima Public Library have some of these? They might. I don't know for sure, but we could certainly look on their website. Um, also, if you come up short with all of those, um, anyone in the state of Washington can buy us a Spokane Public Library card or a Seattle Public Library card. I don't like to sort of I don't like. We like to give out free cards, but if you have no other option, you can buy a card. I mentioned Spokane Public Library because they have these same tools. Their card is cheaper, so, and they have the same deal, and I think it's like $65 or something. So if you didn't have any other access, then you could certainly that's something to explore as a Washington State resident. Um, for Candid, go back to that page that I mentioned where you can look up the free access and then look up Yakima and see what's close. Um, oh, Soap Lake Library looks like they have a foundation directory, a Candid search. So that's probably your closest. Or oh no, Moses Lake, Ephrata. There's a couple of them over East Wenatchee, Quincy. So hopefully there's one or more that's close there. Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Hi, greetings, everybody. I'm Kim Kamara, Executive Director of Winds of Change Alliance. We're an Indigenous-led organization, and we've been around the area for a while, located in Seattle, but do a lot of things in King County, generally broad. So I just want to expand on my chat comment that basically we have a pretty high grant awarding rate, and part of that now is due to a lot of the agencies that give out cultural arts, environmental, eco-cultural system, as well as educational grants When you add data that's simply analytics, I'm excited about that because that is something we will start using even more. But they're requesting data like for culture has you do that before you can even apply. City of Seattle granting offices are asking for more of that as well. Demographics, um, ethnics, socioeconomic, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really useful because it will, as I commented, it'll up your ability to be awarded over, above, and beyond other organizations. So that's my little, having written grants for 35 years, recommendation. And thank you, Jay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a
One
great point, Kim. Thank you
That's
for
a really
sharing.
great point. It's something I was thinking about as Kim was mentioning that is something I didn't share was that if you want some help from me or my colleagues, we're happy to help you with that. Not with the grant writing, that's not our area, but for the searching and getting those demographics. You can book time with me or my colleagues, and we'll help you. I'll put my email and our collective email in the chat there, j.lyman@spl.org or l2b@spl.org. And that's where you can kind of connect with us, set up some time. We have a booking calendar. There's one on the website that books up all the time. It's constantly booking. So email us is a better option because we can share, here's some other times that work, and kind of get you the data that you need. But we're happy to help with any aspect of the search or using these tools.
Yeah, such great information. Thank you so much, Jay. And I will be following up with the attendees here with links and more information and give me some time to get the recording edited, but I will be sending that out and sharing it with whoever attended, not just DELN members, but anyone who registered. Jay, I appreciate your time and ability to share all this great information with us. I know that one of the requests we get as a coalition is funding, where's the funding? How can we find funding? And though our organization, DELN, cannot offer funding directly, I like to connect, to organizations who can or can offer information like SPL. So I hope everyone found this extremely valuable today. And Jay, I hope to be able to invite you back for some more presentations in the future.
Happy to do that. Thank you. Thanks for having me today too.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all. Well, I will let everyone go and enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope to see you in a library location here soon using Candid. Okay?